Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Kapws Arcade Adventures. In this episode, we're heading down to Fredericksburg, Virginia, right here in the Northern Virginia area where I call home, to what I guess I would refer to as my home arcade, like my local watering hole, my stomping ground, when I want to get my game fix on. Reclaim Arcade in Fredericksburg, Virginia is kind of my home area. Now, Reclaim's been around for about 3 years. They're just coming up on celebrating their 3rd anniversary. It's created and owned by Tim Owens, and Tim has done a phenomenal job with where Reclaim came from 3 years ago, like right as COVID was like coming towards an end when they opened their doors to the public, to where it's kind of grown into today as one of what I would identify as the best modern retro style arcades, especially in the Northern Virginia area. Now, they've got a couple of different pay models. You know, it's not a token or quarter drop location. You can pay one price to play all day. They also have seasonal memberships like summer and winter, and even annual memberships for folks in the area who just love to support Reclaim and kind of the retro gaming movement that we have in this particular area. Now, they've got a lot of things to offer, especially as they've grown over time. It is a family-friendly destination, but you can also go in there if you're a little bit older crowd on different theme nights that they have, whether it's like 80s night or karaoke night, or even Star Wars night, which happens to be a personal favorite. So I would really like you guys to sit back, relax, and check out what it is that Reclaim has to offer, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. So as you come up on Reclaim, it's kind of in this old shopping center down here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. They've got some pretty cool signage out here on the front. You know, you see Reclaim Video, and then right next door you see Reclaim Arcade, and we'll kind of talk about the uniqueness of how they have this spot set up when we get on the inside. The front windows, as you see, are kind of blacked out here. You do wind up getting some indication, you know, based on the Kubrick graphics, and then the humanoids must not enter sign as you kind of proceed on down the walkway. And we'll take you guys on into the inside. Like I said, this, if I had to say I have a hometown arcade, this is it. So let's go on in. So when you enter Reclaim, the lobby is done up to look like a video store, like an actual old arcade, like video rental destination. You've got a whole bunch of tapes out here in the front. As you come into the lobby, you see different movie paraphernalia, different posters. They've got t-shirts that you can buy. My favorite, R2-D2. It is a pay-to-play location, so nothing is on tokens. It's a one price enter, play all day. So after you come in from the video store, one of the things you're going to see is this 80s-esque living room that they've kind of done up in here. That's got everything from laser discs that you can go ahead and ask them to put on and play for you. Some of the toys and decorations that they have here on the wall. Like, amazingly, I used to have this Battle of the Guns of Navarone play set when I was a kid. And then they've got all kinds of VHS tapes, console stuff, both on the Atari 2600, the NES, the Super NES that you can play. And then just kind of hang out on here if your kids are inside playing or you're just looking to get a break. And then you're immediately greeted with this fantastic neon sign that they've done up, for Reclaim Arcade. And then the projection screen that kind of rotates imagery up here on the wall. Right now you've got this great centipede art that they've got kind of going on. And then you immediately kind of come into the arcade. Now it's a Saturday down here. You guys can see the arcade is packed with people, with kids. Everybody kind of getting their game fix on. One of the things I love about Reclaim is this great collection of pins that they have that kind of complements the video game section. They do a monthly tournament. I believe it's the last Thursday of every month. It is IFPA. It's about a $5 entrance fee, and you get a great collection of the Modern Stern titles, some of the other Chicago gaming, as well as a really nice kind of blending of both pro, premium, and they even have one LE game here on site. So, a lot of times you go out and for pinball, because of the cost of the machines, and how they kind of get beat up at times, operators will tend to put pros in on their location. But here at Reclaim, again, like I said, you get a good mixture of both pro, premium, and in one specific game's case, you get an LE. So let's kind of walk through the games. We'll take you up one side and go down the other side first. You know, we start out with Berserk, Championship Baseball by Sega, Crystal Castles by Atari, Tapper by Bally Midway, Kangaroo by Atari, Dig Dug by Atari, and Marble Madness. I believe Tim just recently, Tim who's the owner, just added Marble Madness. This wasn't here the last time I was here. It's great seeing them add fresh games on site. And then back here in the corner, you've got a Burger Time cocktail table, and then we'll start hitting on some of the pins. Now they also recently added this really cool vinyl artwork collection where they've taken some vinyl records and they've added all kinds of like 8-bit style or arcade, you know, vintage graphics that they've had, you know, the art displayed onto them. Really good use of the material. So as far as like the pins, we'll kind of start up the backside here. We've got Space Station by Williams. I actually love this pin. Taxi, always a favorite. Space Invaders, you know, the one wide body that they kind of have here. I love the topper with the alien kind of flashing in the background. They've got the Attack from Mars, the remake, and then we start getting into some of their Stern modern titles. First with Iron Maiden, then everyone's favorite Keith Elwin game, you know, Godzilla, and then the one LE that they actually have on site is their Foo Fighters. They're kind of unique to see an LE, you know, not necessarily a pro. They are on Insider Connect, so you can go ahead and use your Insider Connect to log in, see how you're kind of progressing in your gameplay. Up along the other side, we start with Deadpool. I recently started playing Deadpool. I'd originally not liked this title. I've really kind of grown to love it, and at some point would even like to consider adding it to my collection. Radical by Bally, Jurassic Park, Star Wars Premium, you know, the recent Steve Ritchie, like one of his last games before he left Stern, Ghostbusters, and then Twilight Zone. Another one you don't always see on site. And then we've got the remake, the Cactus Canyon, Hot Wheels, The Avengers, Infinity Quest, Netflix Stranger Things. I've actually really grown to love this game, especially now that they're rerunning it again. Guardians of the Galaxy, and then unfortunately, Black Knight Swords of Rage is down. I was actually in the midst of playing it when a screw fell out. They've got all the really cool banners as far as artwork goes up on the wall of all of the modern Stern titles, or several of them at least that they have here on the arcade. You know, when it's not freezing cold out down here in the summer and fall, they have a fire pit area back here. They've got a food truck that you can actually order food out here, and they even have cornhole that you can play at times. Now, as far as vids, going up the first side here, we'll start off with Smash TV, Pango, Outrun, Tron, Frogger, Punch Out. You know, as I've said it before, I love Asteroids, you know, 1979, go old school. Star Castle, so this is one of those sites where you actually can come. You know, in my last video, my home tour, you heard me talk about how you don't see vectors a lot. So it is nice to actually see a couple of vectors here on site. They've got Time Crisis 2. I just love seeing all the different generations of kids and adults kind of getting their game fix on. You know, playing skee ball. And then as you come up this side of the arcade, you've got Congo Bongo, Defender. I love Defender. I know some people think it's a super hard game, but it's one of those games from the, you know, my time period growing up in arcades that I just love to still see them play. Galaxian, Galaga, Mispack, and Pack. You guys know how I feel about Karate Champs, one of my own personal favorites. Gauntlet, one of their 4-player quarter munchers. Terminator 2 Terminator Judgment Day. Then we get into some of their fighters. You know, you've got Mortal Kombat Ultimate, which is number 3. Phoenix by Century. And then they've got all their Williams games, kind of, you know, one of the titles over here being Double Dragon. But then we get into, you know, Williams Joust, Robotron 2084. Everyone loves that game. Moon Patrol, fantastic music in Moon Patrol. Gyrus, and then Zaxxon. Another game that, you know, it's kind of one of those love it or hate it games. I happen to love Zaxxon. I know it's super hard. People tend to kind of shy away from it, but it's a game I played a lot growing up. You know, this kind of center island area here is where they've grouped together all of their 4-player Konamis, like The Simpsons, Turtles, X-Men, and then NBA Jam on the other side. And then as far as Nintendo titles go, you've got Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Popeye, Mario Brothers as you go down the back wall. Then you'll see Russian Attack by Konami, Iron Man Off-Road, another Century title being Vanguard, Cubert, Millipede, and then everyone's favorite quarter muncher that's impossible to beat, Ghosts and Goblins, which I still happen to love. Now over here we do have a full-size Missile Command, Wizard of War, and Jungle Hunt by Taito. They do theme nights. Last night was Hairband night. They'll wind up having, this whole area in here will get taken up thematically with music, and people will dress out, for the occasion. They do have beers on tap, as well as beers that they rotate in both bottles and cans at a full-service bar. Big screen. Right now they're actually showing the Street Fighter, I believe the 2023 Grand Championships. And there's that NBA Jam that we had mentioned. And then the last couple of games that they've got are the Konami Century Track and Field, which is down, and then the Street Fighter Champion 2 Edition. So they boast over 75 vids and pins on location. Not too bad. We're walking around. I only saw 2 games down. You're talking 30 and 40-year-old titles in some cases. They're hard to maintain. They're hard to keep up with. I think Tim and the guys here at Reclaim are doing a wonderful job. So if you guys have the time, you're in the Northern Virginia area, you're looking to get your game fix on, please come on down, check out Reclaim, come in, get a beer, grab a pretzel, sit down in the living room, let your kids play, and just enjoy your time here. So with that said, we'll see you guys on the next Kapws Arcade Adventure. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed Reclaim. Like I said, it's my personal destination to go to when I want to get my game fix on, when I want to get out of my own arcade here in the basement, hang out with friends, get on out there, see what it is that they have going on, whether it's a pinball tournament or just going down there to have a beer, a pretzel, and hang out and kind of get my game fix on, playing in the arcade or sitting in the 80s themed living room. They have a lot of stuff going on, as I'm sure you saw in the video. And if you're here in the Northern Virginia area, you're looking to get your game fix on, you want to go ahead and play some pins, maybe get into their tournament if you're in the area at the right time of the month when they have them, or even just to check it out if you've only got an hour or two to kill, please head on down to my hometown favorite, Reclaim Arcade in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and we will see you guys on the next Kapws Arcade Adventure.